Hey, what's going on, everybody out there? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It's a worldwide network here. How's everybody doing? What's up, Chilltown? What's going on?
We in effect, B. We
Yeah,
working
yeah.
around the clock around here. We keeping you
Woo.
entertained. That's what we do around here.
Getting ready for that PC weekend coming up, y'all. Hope y'all ready for that. Man, I
It's gonna be
seen
a
it.
lot of fun.
I had people hitting me up, chill, asking when's PC weekend? What are y'all doing? And I had no idea. I got a quick sneak peek at the itinerary today, so hey, we about to be putting in some long hours, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all view everything. It's gonna be a lot of hard work. We
Hmm.
going hard just for y'all, making them
Yes, we
top
are.
notch content.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So what's been new? What's been going on?
Hey, man. PC weekend is the thing to do right now. That's probably what I've been looking forward to the most. I've been to
Mhm.
Seattle a couple of times, but PC weekend is what I'm looking forward to. Like I said, Big Ox, I don't know exactly what they got planned for us, but I'm sure it's going to be a doozy. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of action going on. I'm sure we're going to be bringing these people a lot of different content, and I think it's going to be good, man. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
real good. 100%.
yeah.
Going to be real
We
good.
got people flying in from all over the world, y'all. It's gonna be crazy. But
Uh-huh.
without y'all, there would be no us. So let me start off by shouting out our GOAT members, Ramus and more, Alejandro Rodriguez, Terry, and IDWC. If you want to become
Yes,
a GOAT member,
sir.
you just click on that link. It's real painless. It's simple, straight to the point. Speaking of getting straight to the point, though, Chilltown,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to uh today I wanted to go over some lists that we've been doing on the panel. I know a lot of y'all tuned into the panel, so some of y'all probably seen this, some of y'all might have missed it, but I want to
List.
break them down and I
What you
want to
got, Big
get
Ox?
I want to get your input on it though.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about how these lists turned out? Um I believe so. First, we're going to talk about when we compared Tim Duncan and Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
Yeah,
That was
how we
that was a really interesting conversation,
it
and
was.
I felt like it wasn't like it was a situation where it was just a wash, where Duncan was just better than Shaq or Shaq was just better. Well, if who are you taking at their best? Are you taking Shaq at their best, or are you taking Tim Duncan at their best? Does that mean that Shaq is better than Tim Duncan? Does that mean Tim Duncan is better than Shaq? I'm not going to say that, but
Right.
there's a lot of different factors that come into being the better player and to having a better career. A lot of people say stuff box like greatness, and then they talk about the player. I have a difficult time with that. And the reason why I have a difficult time with that is because the stuff that you produce, which becomes your greatness, that's because of your skill set.
Right.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, you got the luxury of being on a great team, or you got the luxury of being with great players. Well,
Mhm.
if I'm playing with great players, I still got to do my job too. I still have to produce. I can't just go out there and just because I'm with a bunch of great players, it's just going to work. No, because we've seen super teams fail. We've seen guys get with better players and fail. So I think all of that stuff goes hand in hand, man. The
Right.
whole greatness, separating the guy being great between separating the guy being the best. And the reason why that bothers me as much as it does, because I've seen better players get outplayed by lesser talent.
Right.
That's why I have such a difficult time with that better player logic. So,
Right.
with that being
Well,
said, when I'm thinking about Tim Duncan, I'm thinking about Shaq. Now, at Shaq at his peak, Shaq is the best version of Shaq. What's the best version of Shaq? 2000 Shaq. I think that's the best. That's the best Shaq that I'd ever seen. 2001 Shaq was pretty awesome.
right.
2002 Shaq was awesome, but the best Shaq version that I saw was 2000 Shaq. Is that Shaq? Is that version of Shaq better than any version of Tim Duncan? Like the 2003 Tim Duncan, is he better than him?
Right.
I would have to
So
say. I would have to say, yeah. I think
so
he
let
is.
me let me see right here. I'm about to share it. And so what you're asking here, if I'm not mistaken, is hold on one second. Let me see, make sure if I can make it any bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Chill, can you see? Oh damn.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. I'm gonna just
Scoring,
yeah,
defense,
I'm gonna
paint
just leave it
presence.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
So we're down at the bottom is peak, and I believe that's what you were just speaking about. Shaq
Yep.
got that. Shaq got that check. He got the check for
Mm-hmm.
peak. So
Mm-hmm.
let's run it down from scoring. It's
Yep.
Shaq defense.
Diesel, Duncan.
So on defense you got You got
I got
Duncan.
Duncan. I got
Okay,
Duncan
so
on defense.
scoring is
Yeah.
Shaq, defense is Duncan, paint presence Shaq. Then Duncan got passing, rebounding, and skills. Shaq got athleticism, Duncan got winning, and Shaq got peak. So if you, because the last check is just better overall, but if you go off of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the first 9 checks, Duncan has 5 and Shaq has 4.
Right.
So how does he have the better overall check?
Right, because I think that there were people who felt like Shaq's peak was better, so that pushed him over the top. Which again, I countered that with Duncan did it longer. Duncan played at a high level for a longer period of time. So when I think about how great Duncan was, again, if you look at Shaq's peak, the 1999-2000 Shaq, I'm taking that Shaq over any version of Duncan. But the fact that Duncan did it for as long as he did it, and he played at a high level, and he was able to change his game while he was so good after Tony Parker and Ginobili got better and their games materialized and they started getting better. Why was Tim Duncan still so good? Because he changed his game. He became more of a defender. He became more of a rebounder. He became more of a paint presence. He became more of a glass cleaner. He became more of an interior defender. He became better at all of those things, which enhanced their team. And that stayed like that for the rest of his career. Now, he wasn't as good at the 5 spot defensively as he was at the 4. His best years defensively were at the 4, but he still was good. He still was elite at the 4 spot. I mean, at the 5 spot. I mean, he made the all-league defensive team at the 5 spot. You know, he was in contention for being in the defensive player of the year at the 5 spot. So for a guy to play at that level for that long, I'd have to go because a lot of people say stuff like, you know, longevity, that's a longevity stat. Big Ox, I don't know where it is that doing something great for a long time is a bad thing. I never heard that.
Real quick,
that's never heard that before.
I don't understand how that's possibly a knock either. I don't see the knock in that. But I do want to ask you a couple questions about these. So, athleticism mostly. If you have, so Shaq is better scoring, Duncan's better on defense. Athleticism, how is that? Is that a notch? Like if you know, I don't understand the athleticism notch. Like, yeah, it's good, but does it matter in who's better?
It does, because when you're thinking about an athlete, you're thinking about how that translates on defense. You're thinking about in terms of being able to recover, in terms of being one of the great things about Dennis Rodman, how smart he was as a basketball player. Dennis was an elite athlete,
right?
And that helped him.
So what I'm asking though, Chilltown, I guess I'm trying to figure out a good way to ask this question. Let's say I'm a better athlete than you are, but you're still better on defense than I am. My athleticism doesn't matter at that point on the defensive end, right? Because you're still better. Right. You're still a better defender than me. So that's why I was kind of confused by why the athleticism notch was in there.
Well, the reason why we bring in the athleticism is because, like you just mentioned, well, you're better on defense. Well, why am I better on defense? It's not just because I'm a better athlete. That does matter. But the fact that you may be a bit smarter than me. You may play a little bit different than I do defensively, which enhances you defensively. You can be a little bit more versatile defensively as an athlete. And couple that with the fact that how smart you are, right? And by no means does that mean Shaq's basketball IQ wasn't high. Shaq had an elite basketball IQ. Right? Shaq was a very smart basketball player. But when you're talking about an athlete, a guy who can play in transition, a guy who can get back on defense, a guy who can be the paint presence, a guy who can enhance your offense because he can run, right? A guy who can slow down another team's offense because he could get back on defense, a guy who can rebound in traffic because he's a better athlete. As smart as he is, he can also get in, he can also block out, right? I got better footwork. And that ties into being a great athlete. And as good as Tim Duncan was as an athlete, because that doesn't negate Tim Duncan as an athlete, because I feel like Tim Duncan was a damn good athlete. I just think Shaq was a better one. And it enhanced his game.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense. The thing about it is, for me, in this one, it was rough because I have Tim Duncan number 4 all the time, and I have Shaq number 5 all the time. So it's like they're neck and neck to me. I can go.
I got Duncan at 8. I got Duncan at 8. I got Shaq at 10. So it's not like they that far apart. They right there.
That's one of those things I can go either way with. I mean, that
Mhm.
was still fun, the comparison. Actually, this next one we did, chill. This one was crazy.
Mhm.
I didn't. I was happy to be able to catch you guys on the stream. I was on my way. I was moving around, and so I was happy to be able to be a part of this one. But this
Just
one
so
got
y'all know,
exciting.
Big Ox had to pull a call over for this one.
Yeah, yeah. This one was exciting, man. So I had to get involved on this one.
Big
Chilltown,
Ox had to get involved in that. Mm.
talk to me about this, Chitchat.
Mm. This was a real tough one. It was. This was really a tough one. As soon as I saw Scottie Pippen and Sidney Moncrief, I was on the hook. As soon as I saw those two, that doesn't mean that the rest of these guys weren't difficult. But when I saw Scottie Pippen and I saw Sidney Moncrief, the first thing I thought, one was versatility, two, durability, three, not just switchability, because that goes in with durability. Three, how long you did this, durability, like I said, switchability, one, durability, two, I'm getting myself confused. Hold on. Number one, versatility, two, durability. Those two things is the first two things that I thought about, right? Number three, I care, and you know me, Big Ox. What I care about more than anything, I care about what you did, when you did it, who you did it against. And Scottie
Right,
Pippen has signature moments. So does Sidney Moncrief. He's got
right,
signature moments. How him slowing down Dennis Johnson in 1983 in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the
right,
Boston Celtics. That was a big deal to me. That was a
right,
huge deal to me, right? Him winning the Defensive Player of the Year in back-to-back season. Him being able to guard the 1, 2, and the 3. Scottie Pippen being able to completely disrupt your whole offense and doing that for a long period of time, the way these dudes did it, right?
right.
The way these dudes did it, I was like, yo. The rest of them dudes I thought they was fantastic, but I was like Sidney Moncrief and Scottie Pippen at the top of this list.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna pull them back up. Let's go through the breakdown real quick. So to break it down, what we did in this first round, starting on the left, it looks like Scottie Pippen, Sidney Moncrief, and then we got Bruce Bowen, Drew Holiday, Ron Artest, and Marcus Smart, right? That's who's all
Yep.
over on the left. Now, what
Right.
we did in this first round was just vote off the worst duo. Is this the duo that you voted for? Did you vote for Drew Holiday and Bruce Bowen as the worst duo of these three?
Did I? Yes, I did.
You did.
No. Wait. Hold on, Big Ox. I'm trying to remember if I did or not. I dug Drew Holiday and Bruce Bowen, but yes, I did. I did vote.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I did vote those two off. Yes, I did.
Okay. And then, so are you sounded a little reluctant right there? Are you
Well, the
maybe
reason why
second
is 'cause-
guessing that now? Maybe
well,
maybe you wouldn't go smart.
The reason why is because I felt like Drew Holiday is a better defender than Marcus Smart. I feel like Marcus Smart, he had more antics than being a great defender. I thought Drew Holiday, he gets down in the stance, he gets in the trenches, he takes charges. There's not a lot of extracurricular nonsense with Drew Holiday. Plus, he's got signature moments, right? I saw him shut down Damian Lillard in the playoffs, right? I saw him slow down Chris Paul in the NBA Finals. I saw those signature moments. Well, Marcus Smart does have a Defensive Player of the Year, but the extracurricular stuff that comes with it, it kind of throws off what he is as a defender. The tipping point was Artest and Bruce Bowen. I think that was the difference. I felt like those two together were better than Bruce Bowen and Drew Holiday because Bruce Bowen was a little bit. I think he was less of a defender. I think he was less of a defender than. I think Bruce Bowen was less of a defender than
Ron Artest.
I do.
Okay. So on the right side though, now we did have a couple guys, talking down on the Patrick Beverly and Dennis Rodman duo. I wasn't expecting that. Nonetheless, they were matched up against Tony Parker and Kawhi and Shane Battier and Gary Payton. So is this the one you voted for as well? Did you vote to cut Patrick Beverly and Dennis Rodman in this over the four?
I did. I did vote for the same reason with Drew Holiday and Bruce Bowen, because I felt like Patrick Beverly was the weak link of this of this crew. I mean, Dennis Rodman. I think Dennis Rodman is one of the 3 best defenders in NBA history.
Oh,
but I felt like Patrick Beverley is more of a nuisance than he was a defender. I mean, when you think about him as a defender, I feel like him in terms of his physicality, in terms of his ability to keep his hands busy, stay in a stance. I just thought that he, as a disruptor, I thought that he was more detrimental than he was a positive, because he would do stuff. I felt like he would do stuff that was more detrimental as opposed to Dennis Rodman, where he could just completely take you out of the game. I felt like he was the weak link in that defensive duo.
Right. Well, so moving back over to the left side of the bracket, we have Artest and Marcus Smart versus Moncrief and Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the reason why I had Sidney Moncrief and Scottie Pippen, because again, I thought that as a duo, they're more versatile. So Scottie Pippen could start the game by guarding your point guard and completely guarding him from 94 feet, right? Just like what Drew Holiday did with Chris Paul, just like Drew Holiday did with Damian Lillard. That's what Scottie Pippen could do, being bigger, being faster, being stronger. He could do that. Sidney Moncrief could do that too. But then Scottie can move over to your 2 guard. He can move over to, if your 2 guard gets going, Scottie Pippen can get on him, slow him down, keep the basketball away from him. Well, then if your small forward got going, you got a bigger small forward than Scottie Pippen, who is 6'9". He can keep the basketball away from him, throwing him off rhythm. Plus you got Sidney Moncrief slowing your point guard down. Plus, you got Sidney Moncrief dealing with your 2 guard. And I don't think that there's much of a disparity. There's not much of a difference with them in terms of the 1 and the 2, because Scottie Pippen as an on-ball defender and Sidney Moncrief as an on-ball defender, these guys were fantastic. I think that the antics with Marcus Smart, I think that's going to throw the monkey wrench in these 2 dudes. I think these 2 dudes at the top with Sidney Moncrief and Scottie, I think that they're just so much smarter. And because they're so much smarter, I think that they're going to do more defensively.
Yeah, that's such a lockdown duo over there. Now back over to the right side, this is where things really got interesting. We had a lot of people actually in the chat that were losing their minds about this one. And I believe I was asked first on this one, and I voted to cut Kawhi and Tony Parker. Dang, I keep saying Tony Parker. My bad, y'all. Tony Allen. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tony Allen and Kawhi. How did you vote on this one, Chill?
I voted both Shane Battier and Gary Payton, and I voted for them as a duo because, number one, I'm thinking about how smart both of these guys are as a defender, as defenders. Number two, I'm thinking about how long they were able to do it. Number three, I'm thinking about the versatility with this group. So Shane Battier, how smart he was. Shane Battier had a unique way of cutting off angles, right? He had a unique way of steering guys in different directions to get them off balance. He also had a way, just like Scottie Pippen, in keeping the ball away from you to get you off rhythm. Gary Payton, on the other hand, he could completely just talk you out of your game. Completely talk you right out of your game. And then in addition to talking you out of your game, as physical as he could possibly be, right? He knew also how to cut off angles. He knew how to keep his hands busy. He knew when to reach. He knew how to reach. So these two guys together, and by the way, Shane Battier, when he was with the Miami Heat, I mean, that was later on. That's not Shane Battier when he was in Memphis, or I think the best version of Shane Battier when he was in Houston. So him and Gary Payton at their best, I think they're better than both Kawhi Leonard and Tony Allen at their best.
Yeah, I had to agree with that. I had to vote that way just because I believe the help side defense from Shane Battier was a little better than Kawhi Leonard. So I had to go that way. In the head-to-head here, Sidney Moncrief and Scottie Pippen versus Shane Battier and Gary Payton, was this pretty easy for you?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, for me.
I don't look at Tony Allen as a lesser than defender, but what I don't want to do is, because he got the vote of confidence from Kobe Bryant, I don't want to overrate him. Right. I thought he was great, but when I think about other other guard defenders, I mean, I don't think he was a better defender than Joe Dumars. I don't think he was a better defender than Sidney Moncrief. I don't think he was a better defender than Michael Jordan. I don't think he was a better defender than those guys. And that's just a couple of guys off the top of my head. I don't think he was a better defender than Alvin Robinson. I don't.
All right.
These are just guys off the top of my head that I'm thinking about when I think about guards. No, I don't.
Yeah. And the champions, Scottie Pippen and Sidney Moncrief, that was pretty simple for me too. I think I just got Scottie Pippen as the best defender. Besides Hakeem, Scottie Pippen's the best defender of all time to me in my eyes.
You can't give me Big Ox. You can't tell me. Like, when I think about greatest defenders, I can't think of 5 defenders in NBA history better than Scottie Pippen. I can't.
Right. No, I can't do it.
When I think about Olajuwon, think about Dennis Rodman, think about Bill Russell. Then it gets tricky because some people say, well, Ben Wallace. Some people say Jordan. I remember Scottie Pippen as a defender. Him and Tim Duncan, between him and Tim Duncan, and it's like this.
Yeah.
Of 2 of the best players never to win Defensive Player of the Year.
That's absurd too. It's absurd. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna bring a couple of the fellas up in front of the back to see how they feel about those lists. Rock, Liam, what's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing?
You're
all right. How y'all doing? How'd y'all feel about these lists and whatnot on just everything going on?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't mind the Sidney Creef and Scottie Pippen duo winning because if you look at it, like Chill said, they're very versatile. They could guard multiple positions, so I don't really mind that. The one that kind of throws me off, to be honest, is the Gary Payton and Shane Battier versus Tony Allen and Kawhi Leonard. Mm-hmm. Now, for me personally, I'm gonna go with Kawhi Leonard and Tony Allen just based off the fact that, yes, Gary. If you're asking me who's a better defender out of Gary Payton and Tony Allen, I'm obviously gonna say Gary Payton. But to me, I think with Tony Allen's bigger size, I just think that he could bring you more, like guarding more positions in that guarding a 1 or 2 and maybe some threes.
You mean Tony Allen?
Tony Allen, yes.
Well, first of all, him and Gary Payton the same size. It's not like there's a size advantage between those two. Those two dudes are the same. Gary Payton, a bit of 6'4". A bit of it. So it wasn't nothing 6'2" or 6'3". Yeah, a bit of 6'4". Wasn't nothing 6'2" or 6'3" about Gary Payton. He was a bit of it, 100%. That's number one. Number two, when I think about on-ball defenders, I mean, a disruptor, Gary Payton, Tony Allen was a fantastic disruptor on ball. But when I think about full court, how Gary Payton would turn point guards this way and that way. So when you getting into your offense where the shot clock is, especially back then, with the shot clock now at 12 seconds, shot clock at 11 seconds, because Gary Payton has been ball hawking me the whole time. And by the way, there wasn't this, that the 18 seconds or the 16 seconds you got to get the ball over half court. You didn't have, you had 10 seconds to get the ball over half court. And with Gary Payton, that was a problem because I needed all 10 of those seconds because he'd be in your face right from baseline to half court where you had to just throw the ball ahead. So when I think about Gary Payton as an on-ball defender, there weren't many better than him.
But when I also look, and not to take up time with him, I think, but like for me, watching Tony Allen guard different, like, because to me personally, I think Tony Allen guarded better competition. And what I mean, and what I mean by that is, I'm sorry. And what I mean by that, you got Kobe, you got the T-Max. Well, I ain't gonna really say T-Mac, but you got, I ain't necessarily, matter of fact, I ain't even gonna talk about really Boston Tony Allen, because that was him getting his feet wet. That was him. I could say
he just showed up. He just got there. That's fair. That's fair.
So really talking about Memphis, you see him guard different wings like Kobe, the Kevin Durant's, stuff like that.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, the little in the league and stuff like that. I just think he guarded better competition.
Right.
That's
now with Tony Allen, and I think about when I think about Gary Payton, I mean, I can rebut that with the same thing. I mean, Gary Payton had to deal with John Stockton. He had to deal with Jason Kidd. He had to deal with Penny Hardaway. He had to deal with Michael Jordan. He had to deal with Joe Dumars. He had to deal with all the great guards, Mark Price. right? He had to deal with all of these great guards, great offensive guards who could score. He had to deal with Kevin Johnson, right? He had to deal with all of these great guards who could score the basketball. In addition to getting his own offense, we're just talking about a defender. He had to deal with all of these guys. And the idea of these guys being athletic. I mean, Kenny Smith, contrary to popular opinion, Kenny Smith was one of the more athletic guards of that era. And he was like 18 a game. And nobody talks about Kenny Smith. And Gary Payton used to dominate him. Gary Payton used to kick Kenny Smith's ass. And this is a starting point guard on a back-to-back championship team. And Gary Payton used to serve him. He couldn't do anything with Payton. So guys like John Stockton and guys like Penny Hardaway, bigger guards. So that was really difficult. And on top of that, being versatile, having to deal with guys like Michael Jordan, having to deal with Ron Harper, right? Dealing with guys like that. So
I just think like for me personally, and I could probably say, because like I said, I'm 25, so it's probably the era that I grew up in. Me not watching them to watch Gary Payton in his prime. I just seen, like, for instance, it's like what I seen Tony Allen do guarding Kevin Durant in the playoffs. I forgot what year that was. That could probably be
2015. It was 15.
Yeah, seeing like just seeing how disruptive he was on a taller, like on somebody.
No, that was
tall,
actually
like,
16. I think it was. I think it was 15. It was 15. What? I think 14. It was either 14 or 16 because I think 15 he got hurt. One of those 2 years.
No, did he get hurt or did Russ get hurt?
Russ got hurt in 14.
Okay,
that's when I think that was the year when Pat Beverly screwed him up.
Yeah, but yeah, like it just seeing how he could disrupt somebody as big like Kevin Durant. Now, I mean, now some people say, well, he has a skinny frame and it's not hard to push him around and stuff.
Yes, it is.
But for him to do that, I think to me that speaks volume on his first able to defend.
That's fair.
A good point. That's a good
point.
That's
fair. Absolutely.
Yo, Liam, what's up, my guy? How you doing? You muted, bro.
Can't hear you, brother. Nope, can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
See if we can get you back hot again.
We'll check.
Yeah. Now,
we heard you. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
You hot.
Yeah.
Now you hot.
Okay.
Now you hot.
I don't know too much about like Sidney Moncrief and those kind of players. I'm 33, so I don't remember that as much, but I did like the list. I thought it was a really good competition. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of not outraged, but like upset that Scotty and Sidney Moncrief won. But I think people forget how impactful Scotty's defense was and how much. I mean, Gary Payton was the claw, but I remember just like
he was the glove. Actually, that was Kawhi Leonard. Gary Payton was the glove. Kawhi Leonard was the claw.
Yeah, and so like for me, I thought they should have won. I think a lot of people were upset about Kawhi, but I remember being like, you got to look at like the impact as well. Like I know it's a duo thing, but like I'm looking at it from the fact that I don't know Sidney Moncrief that well. But like I looked him up the other day and I was like, okay, yeah, he deserves it. He was really good. But I think like I'm a little younger, so I don't know these guys, but I feel like as an impact, if you had two of those type of guys together and how much of an impact they had on their team, imagine what they could do together. I went in with that mindset, and it seemed like a really fair. Like it's not easy to do because they're all so very close, right? They're all really good. But
plus, you got to remember too. You got to remember when you're playing with a great defender, that enhances you defensively. So as good as Jordan was defensively, running with Scottie Pippen made him better because now I don't have to cover Clyde Drexler as much. I don't got to cover Kobe Bryant as much. I don't have to cover whatever. I don't got to deal with Joe Dumars as much. I don't got to deal with John Starks or Dan Maul. I don't have to deal with these guys because that's Scotty who also can help me out, and I can roam and I can be more of an off-ball defender, I can be more of a disruptor, block shots, get steals. When I'm running with somebody like that, that enhances my defense.
Yeah. And Rock, also Rock, I wanted to ask something about what you were saying, Rock, about the level of competition. You got to remember, as Gary Payton started getting older, there was some guys that showed up when he started getting a little older, like Kobe, T-Mac, even Baron Davis, guys like that, Steve Nash. guys that he had to Tony Parker when he was really getting to the end then. But these guys showed up when GP was heading towards the other side of his
Yeah,
prime.
going on the
And
downhill.
so you know, he still had to compete with those guys and switch on to some of them that were bigger. Vince Carter, he was switching on to these guys at random times in the game too. So we got to put that into perspective as well. But fellas, we do appreciate y'all.
Sorry,
what'd you
can
say?
you put the list up one more time?
Yeah, I got you real quick.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I just wanted
No,
to
it's all good. Don't worry about it. I got you. Yeah, you see it right here.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
It's like it's like okay, like I said, I mean, I watch the games. It's like I watch the games and I watch highlights, and so like I never really got to see Gary Payton in his prime to really see. I mean, you could watch the games, but I feel like when you're watching it live, like Chill, I'm pretty sure you can watch Gary Payton live, and you could actually see what's going on. And then plus I hear the stories. But I just think with me, with this, let's say from 2010, 2011 on, I just think the league got so much more skill. I just think like me personally, I think that Tony Allen being able to, it has to be said for somebody to be able to guard these like players such skill as Kobe, Kevin Durant, and all these guys, Steph Curry, to have to be able to have to keep up with these guys. Not saying that in no way, shape, or form I take away from what Gary Payton did, because he has to keep his player here. I'm pretty sure he was before Marcus Smart wasn't he the last point guard to win it? If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he was.
So
not point guard, guard. Just guard overall. Okay. Yeah, guard overall.
That's a crazy feat, and you know, for him to do that, I definitely understand that. I remember that series specifically. But fellas, I appreciate y'all pulling up. We do got to keep it moving. We got a couple super chats to get to right now. I do got to get moving, brother. I got some guys down here that was waiting from last time, bro. I appreciate you, but catch us on. Well, maybe not Saturday, but next Wednesday, bro. We'll get you back up here, fam.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Some good points. That was good. Listen, I think people forget Gary Payton, you know what I'm saying, was 6'4" though. Or is 6'4", you know. Yeah, people forget about that.
And if you guys don't believe me, and if you guys are unsure about Gary Payton, 1 second.
Yeah, that was a good list, though.
If you guys are unsure about Gary Payton being that big, just so you know, that's Chill right there, and that's GP. Let me show you. As you can see, that's GP right there, and that's Chill. Gary Payton was a bit of 6'4". He was nothing 6'2" or 6'3" about him. He was a big dude. So just want to put that on your mind. Yes, sir. Man. As you were saying, Big Ox.
Yeah, I'm gonna just jump in some of these super chats real quick.
Yep.
The first one from Liam McLean. Dennis Rodman a generational player or talent?
Well, the talent materialized into the player. So Dennis was definitely a generational player. Defensively, there was nobody like Dennis. I haven't seen anybody like Dennis since Dennis left. I mean, we talk about Draymond, but I don't think Draymond was Dennis defensively. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think he was the disruptor that Dennis was. He wasn't the rebounder that Dennis was. He didn't cause the mass confusion that Dennis did. As good as Draymond was as a defender, he wasn't Dennis Rodman.
FIFA Boy says, "OG, how was your woman analogy so accurate?"
I don't know, man. I to be honest with you, that's a difficult question. I don't know how to. I just put it together. That's all.
Right. So, FIFA Boy, 2 + 2 = 4, brother.
That's it.
Oh, and the GOAT, Angie Carr. 2010 Mavs versus 2014 Spurs. Who you got?
Big Ox, that 2014 Spurs, that was, if I'm thinking about basketball, that was some of the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen in my whole life. The way they moved the basketball, the way they completely just dismantled everybody that they ran up on. It was it was some of the most beautiful basketball I'd ever seen in my life. I think they smoked that Mavs team. I don't think they beat that Mavs team. I think they smoked them.
Spurs in 5 and Moss.
I think they smoked them.
Let me see. Huncho. Despite our disagreements, Chilltown, who would you rather have in your backfield, Tiki Barber or Edgerrin James? Well, I like that question.
Edgerrin James. Tiki Barber had a fumbling issue early on in his career. He had to change his run style. So Tiki Barber used to carry the ball over here where it would get punched out a lot. So then he started carrying it up here, and it kind of slowed him down a little bit. Edgerrin James is what you call a violent runner. And when I say violent runner, I mean guys don't want to tackle him. So when he get downhill and he gets into the backfield, you see the bigger cornerbacks today, the 6'6" cornerbacks. That wasn't going on back then. Cornerbacks was like 5'10". They didn't want to tackle him. Yeah. They did not want to tackle that dude when he was coming downhill. They ain't want nothing to do with him. Nothing.
Can't stop me out her. Can't stop me out her. Edgerrin James, that was a bad dude. Isaiah Garcia, Big Ox and OG, best defensive duo.
I could guard on the perimeter, and from what I understand, Big Ox was a glass cleaner and a rim protector, so we might cause some problems. We might cause some problems.
No doubt, definitely. Let's grab a couple more cats from the back before we get to the next list we did.
Yep.
Let me see who we got. Yo, KSB.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
What up?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. How y'all doing?
Good, Joe. What's going on?
All right. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Just watching baseball.
Who's on? Who you watching?
No, we just actually finished the game. It was between the Brewers and the Reds. We won, so we good.
Who's the Reds gonna? Who's winning the NL Central?
The Brewers, but the NL Central is garbage, so it's a mid-off.
It is trash. The NL Central is garbage, 100%. No question about that. The
AL Central is worse. Yeah.
I think the AL Central might be the worst division in baseball, including the AL West. Because as bad as Oakland is, the AL West might be the worst division in baseball, 100%.
Wait, KSB. So the Brewers is us. That's your team.
Yep.
Okay. Right on. Well, what you got for us, KSB? You got anything for Chilltown? Anything specific you want to talk about, or what's the deal? Are you here to bring some ruckus? What's up, man?
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, because I went back and I revisited the whole CP3 to Lakers trade that almost happened, but it was vetoed by the owners. So, do you guys have a trade that almost happened that you think could have shaped the league differently? Because outside of that, there's also the 2007 trade where Kobe, when he requested a trade out of LA, and there was this whole ruckus that he wanted to go to Chicago. Detroit actually sent an offer to the Lakers. It was Tayshaun Prince, Amir Johnson, and I believe Rip Hamilton, and a first-round pick for Kobe. Both sides agreed to it, but Kobe vetoed it because he didn't want to go to Detroit. So I'm just thinking, if there's something like that where you guys think it could have just shaped the league in an entirely different way.
Oh, absolutely, it could have. Because if you think about Kobe Bryant in Detroit on that unit, I mean, Ben Wallace was already gone. Right? Ben Wallace was already gone. She was still there. Chauncey was still there. But him going to that crew when they was that team, I think they was in the Eastern Conference Championship 5 straight years. Him going to that crew, how much better he would have made them offensively and defensively, considering the defensive player that he was. It would have definitely caused a lot of ruckus in the Eastern Conference, and it would have been in line with what the Boston Celtics did when they got KG and when they got Ray Allen and then they had Paul Pierce. It would have been on the lines of that right there. It would have been a year before that, so it very well could have reshaped what was going on in the league.
Oh my God! Just to think about LeBron versus Kobe versus those Detroit versus Celtics. Oh my God, that would have been amazing to see.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I think actually, Detroit's actually kind of missed out on a lot of great offensive players because there's this trade. They missed out on Carmelo in 2004. There's also they missed out on Allen Iverson 2000. They're supposed to get Allen Iverson 2000 from Philadelphia. That was like a 4-team trade, but one of the guys a part of it, Frank Geiger or Matt Geiger, Matt Geiger. He did not waive his trade kicker for $1.2 million, and that trade fell through. So right. Detroit, man, that could have been a dynasty.
Well, first of all, in 2000, Rip Hamilton wasn't there. That's number one. Not only was Rip Hamilton not there, Chauncey Billups wasn't there. Ben Wallace was not there yet. He still was in Washington. And Rasheed Wallace was not there. So the whole logic of I think you're going off the idea that if Allen Iverson goes to Detroit, they're going to get all of these guys. Well, that ain't necessarily true. The reason why that thing worked in Detroit with Rip Hamilton and with Chauncey Billups, because Joe Dumars saw Chauncey Billups. Nobody was really giving Chauncey a legit shot, except for what Minnesota did. I mean, Orlando cut him. They didn't even. He got traded to Orlando, and they cut him. They didn't even bring him into camp, as opposed to when he was in Minnesota, and Coach Saunders actually gave him a chance. They didn't re-sign him, and then he goes to Detroit, which was perfect for him and Rip Hamilton. That was a great backcourt. I mean, it was in the Eastern Conference Championship 5 straight years. So the idea of Allen Iverson coming to Detroit in 2000, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be on that crew with Hamilton and Billups and all those other guys, because they weren't even there yet.
Right. Yeah, because Rip Hamilton and Chauncey wouldn't have been there. I'm thinking on the lines that they still would have had Ben Wallace. They still most likely would have drafted Tayshaun Prince. So that's a good enough squad or good enough core to at least make the finals. I still think that the Pistons team, if they do make the finals with AI, lose to the Lakers. But, just looking back on it, they could have been a way better team than, just having winning a chip in 04 and having a couple Eastern Conference Finals appearances.
Do you think that crew in 2000, if Allen Iverson is on that Detroit team in 2000, they end up in the finals?
I think they do.
So in 2001, you think they end up in the finals?
01, definitely. Because early on, the Eastern Conference wasn't really that great. Maybe I'm trying to think a lot, like maybe the early Bucks, 01, 02, no. 2000, 2001 Bucks team maybe given a little trouble because maybe.
So who would they have to have come off of? So let me ask you this question: So to get Allen Iverson in 2000, so he'd be on that crew in 2000, 2001. Allen Iverson's coming on the crew. Who's going?
Ooh, I have to look back.
Who's coming off of that crew?
I would have to look at the trade and see.
I think you mentioned who was coming off that crew.
I know 2007 who was going off. 2000 in this trade that was supposed to go through. I have to look back. I don't exactly remember who Detroit was supposed to trade because it was a 4-team trade. It was a big trade.
Because when I think about that, that Detroit team, they weren't very good, and Allen Iverson is not. Especially considering what you're talking about giving up. Allen Iverson is not pushing that team over the top. And Ben Wallace hasn't become the defender that Ben Wallace is yet.
That's a good
point.
That's a good point.
He's not there. He's not there yet. Add that to the fact that even with Allen Iverson on that crew, they're not better than Milwaukee with Sam Cassell and Glenn Big Dog Robinson and Ray Allen. They're not better than them.
Yeah, that Milwaukee team was really good in 01. Yeah, no, you do bring up a good point with Ben Wallace. I was thinking of like defensive player, like great defender Ben Wallace. Early 2000, 2000 he didn't become that until later on. No, that was a good point.
He was on his way. That's not to say he was a bad defender because he was great.
He was still on his way, but exactly.
He wasn't there. He wasn't 2004, 2005. He wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he was on that way. He was still a good defender, but he didn't become that great defender till later on. Yeah, right. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always good to go back and think about those, the hypotheticals, the great teams we could have seen. But I appreciate you, KSB. Stay tapped in. We'll get you up here again next time.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, man. Have a good day,
brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Chilltown, that's a good point about Chauncey when he went to Minnesota, finally getting the opportunity. Actually, I read an article. I can't remember what magazine, but he was just talking about his time over there and what Terrell Brandon did for him while he was there, just kind of watching him and he just said the time he spent over there, Terrell Brandon specifically helped him become a better player though.
He talked a lot about that's when he felt like he became a pro. He understood what a pro was like. Because guys like you just mentioned, Terrell Brandon, he says Sam Mitchell taught him how to be a pro. He wasn't there yet. Once he got with them dudes, he learned how to be, all right, I got to learn how to dress. I got to learn how to carry myself. I got to learn how to be more of a leader. And he says Sam Mitchell and Terrell Brandon were the guys who instilled that in them. So when he got to Detroit, he was ready to rock and roll.
Right. Let's get to this next list that we did. This next list was actually 3-point shooting. I believe we did the top 15. Is that right? I think we did top 15.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and this was actually yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. We had a few discrepancies. People in the comments didn't like a couple things, but hey, this is our list. Everybody
Mhm.
doesn't have to like it. Let's check it out, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So just off the top, do you see anything sticking out to you? Do you agree with the top? Let's go with the top two, Steph and Clay. Or do we have
Initially,
any
I was
discrepancies?
I had a difficult. I was having a little bit of a difficult time with Klay Thompson because I felt like, is Klay Thompson still the shooter that he used to be? He might not be, but he's still better than all of these other dudes shooting the long ball. Still today, even with him coming off the injuries that he came off of, and he had some mishaps in the playoffs this season, but he's still better than Luke Kennard and Damian Lillard. I still felt like he was better than them dudes.
What's the first mishap? Like, okay, we see we're good with Steph, good with Clay. Guess we're good with Luke, Dame, Cat, Buddy, MPJ. Where's the first guy's name where you're just kind of like, whoa, stop there?
I think Cat is a little too high. And the reason why I think Cat is a little too high is because, again, Big Ox, with my criteria, when I'm talking about being an all-time great, I care about when you did it. When did you do it? What made you as good as a shooter as you were, as good as a box player as you were, as good as a transition player as you were? What made you great? Well, I did it in the East Finals. I did it in the NBA Finals. I took my team deep into the playoffs. Does Cat do it when it matters the most? And he doesn't. That's the difficult part with now. Cat shoot the long ball with some of the best of them early on. Now, when we get late into the season, when we get into the playoffs, that doesn't translate. Buddy Hield could shoot the long ball too, but does that translate later on? And guys like that, I think that's a little high on the list for me when I think about guys like that, because I care about when you did it.
So Cat and Buddy, they're not doing it when it matters. What about the young fella Michael Porter Jr. at number 7? Is he good there? Are we good with that?
I'm cool with him being in the top 10 because, again, he's primarily a long ball shooter, and he's got immense confidence. He's never seen a shot that he doesn't like. No, he'll miss 4 in a row and he like the next one is going in. I mean, that's how you got to be as a shooter. I can get with that logic. He's got incredible confidence. And he's done it on the big stage.
Yeah,
he's done it in the playoffs. Yeah, he's done it. He wasn't great in the NBA Finals, but he was in. I saw him in the bubble when he, as a rook, when he's telling the media, "Yo, y'all need to involve me more in the offense." Don't get me wrong. I know Joker is the guy. And I know Murray is the guy, but y'all need to involve me more in the offense because I can shoot the basketball. And he proved that he could do that. So I'm cool with that.
Definitely has a confidence. Now at number 8, we got Kawhi Leonard at number 8. Are you okay with that?
I would like to move Leonard up a little bit higher because, again, Leonard did it when it mattered the most. And Leonard wasn't a volume shooter. Leonard's a guy who he could stick to 3, but he shot shots that were, 1, in the flow of the offense, 2, he knew he could make, and 3, he made big threes. Like, I'm thinking about that Eastern Conference Finals series.
So wait, are we kind of, should we be switching MPJ and Kawhi for Cat and Buddy? Like, should MPJ be 5 and Kawhi be 6, and then Cat be 7 and Buddy be 9?
I'm cool with Leonard moving up to 5. I'm cool with moving MPJ up ahead of Buddy Hield. And I'm cool with moving MPJ up ahead of Buddy Hield. I'm cool with Leonard moving ahead of Cat. And I'm cool with moving those 2 dudes down.
So chill. Now let's make sure everybody in the chat, everybody listen. Let's make sure we got to understand it, because in the comment section and the live comments and everything, most people were saying Kawhi was too high, and you're actually saying Kawhi is too low.
Yeah,
heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
because again, I seen Kawhi do it in settings where it mattered the most. Don't get me wrong. He had some difficult times, but there's plenty of players who had difficult times. Steph Curry has some stinkers in the playoffs. Klay Thompson has had some stinkers in the playoffs. But Kawhi Leonard, he's had some stretches where this has pushed his unit over the top. The only knock on Kawhi Leonard is that he hasn't been available. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then so number 9, we have Jason Tatum.
I picked him.
Yep. So I know you're good with that. You picked him.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Um,
I'm cool with Jason Tatum in the top 10.
and then I believe this was Ticket's pick at number 10, Kevin Herter, who I thought should have been a little higher than this, but
To
hey,
be honest with you, Ox, I'm really feeling Kevin Herter over Buddy Hield.
Okay.
And in all honesty, I'll take Kevin Herter as a long ball shooter over Buddy Hield because again, I seen him in the postseason, and I seen him when it mattered the most, and him knocking down big shots, and he did it consistently. Also last year in the playoffs, he wasn't terrible. He was good last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I wish it would have been a little better, but
Yep.
that Atlanta run definitely, I think he definitely showed up. So to say that
Yep.
to say that he doesn't translate to the postseason, I think it's laughable because he showed
'cause
him
he
and
does.
him and Trae Young went on a great run. Number 11, I did pick Keegan Murray. Some people thought it might be premature. I think that was a solid pick. What do you think?
I didn't hate that because originally I heard it. I'm thinking a rook. Come on, Big Ox. I mean, damn, yo. But then I thought about. I think he set the rookie record for the most long balls made, he started getting his feet up under him once that series got going against the Warriors. He looked a little starstruck early, but then it kind of started coming to him that, all right, yo, this is basketball. Let me just rock. I know that these are the Warriors. This is Steph Curry, and this is a pretty big deal. Wow. But after a while, he started recognizing that, all right, this is basketball. So let me just rock. And he started doing that.
Yep. And then number 12, we got Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Good with that? Okay. 13, we got Bogey Bogdanovich out of Atlanta. He used to wear the purple and black. Man, we missed that guy. At number 14, we have Kevin Durant.
I was cool with K. I'm the one who put KD there because I was thinking to myself, yo, I can't name 15 long ball shooters in the game better than KD. There's no way I can name 15 long ball. There's no way you can give me 15 long ball shooters in the game better than KD. You can't.
No.
So
not in the league right now. No way.
Right.
And then number 15 was another pick that was a little controversial in the comments. People said that Desmond Bane, who was 15, should have been up there in the Buddy Hield, Michael Porter Jr. range. Oh, what do you feel about that?
Buddy Hield should have been in the Michael Porter.
Desmond Bane. They said Desmond Bane should have been up there in the 6, 7, 5 range.
I think you can make an argument for him being like around maybe around 10 because I think he's on his way. He hasn't done enough yet, but I think he's on his way to being there. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's on his way to being there though.
Right. Well, that's the list that we did yesterday, y'all. That was the top 15 shooters in the NBA today. Let me see real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna bring up context, subtext, and Trey Boy.
Yes, sir.
Called him up. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feel about that list?
Salute, fellas. What's going on? Chill.
Chilling,
what's
man.
the word? Ox, what's the word? Like the name, my guy.
What's up, Tay?
So for me, there's a little bit of there's a lot of cringe in it. Luke Kennard shouldn't be that high. To be honest with you, if you're not gonna put Dame should be behind Clay. If anything, I think the leverage shooting, the movement shooting, the ability to shoot off the dribble, the range, being able to carry a team with just that long ball shooting at times. Obviously, we knew that he had a detriment when he was younger in shooting that the 3 ball. And Drew and Rondo took advantage of that. And ever since that series, when it comes to shooting the ball further and further, he has improved. If Steph is number one in terms of distance, he's right there behind him. In terms of distance and in volume, he's right there with them. I'm not mad at I kind of have a disagreement with Kevin Herter over Buddy Hield, Chill. I got to give you some pushback on that. I think the inconsistency out of Kevin Herter in leverage moments, I don't think he showed up this past playoffs, to be honest with you. I think that there was to be honest with you, I think Buddy Hield's a better shot creator on the long ball line. I think he get it off the dribble a little bit better. I think Kevin Huerter, if he doesn't have a wide open look, he passes up a lot of shots. I think Buddy Hield will take that difficult three. He might not make it, but to have the cojones to kind of take that difficult shot with people smothering you, I think he'll do those and make those from time to time. Another thing is Kawhi. So I agree from the theory. I agree with the theory, right? But I just think the volume and his play style doesn't dictate 3-point shooting to me. I think he's very much in the mid-range. He gets his shots, like you said, in the flow of the offense. So I don't it's so weird. Like I can't label him as a 3-point shooter just because the volume. It's weird because when you watch him play, the volume doesn't look like the volume. But then when you look at the stats, you're like, oh, he does put up a considerable amount of 3-pointers. So I'm on the fence on that. I'm not mad at that, but from the visual aspect, I don't peg him like him, Kyrie, KD, although they have the ability and the consistency of doing it. I don't pair them as 3-point shooters. You know what I mean? I compare them as scorers that can shoot the 3-ball. You get what I mean?
So why are we doing that with Kawhi Leonard, but we don't do that with Kevin Durant as a scorer? Because Kevin Durant is not a volume shooter. Kevin Durant averages about 18, 19 shots a game.
Right.
But the fact that he's efficient in that I don't need a lot of shots to score. Leonard is the same way with the long ball. I don't need a lot of shots. I don't need a lot of long ball shots to knock down the long ball. Add that to the fact that I make big shots when I shoot the long ball. I'm not just shooting the long ball to shoot it. You're not going to look at my stat line. You're not going to look at my line and say, yo, he's shooting 8, 9 threes a game. Why do I have to shoot that many threes a game to be one, efficient, and to be effective? Why I got to do that? Why can't I shoot 4 or 5 a game and still be awesome and make them in big moments?
Yeah. So I just to give pushback,
which is what he does, by the way.
Well, no. So we're on the same page. So, however, what I will give to retort to that is the fact that KD does shoot a higher volume, in my opinion. I think KD shoots a higher volume from the 3-point line due to the fact that just if I'm looking at their career, Kawhi started his career from inside out versus KD, who started his career from outside in. It wasn't until KD got a little bit better with his weight, putting on muscle, he then was more effective on the inside, being a 3-level scorer. I think he had to shoot way more jump shots and way more 3-pointers in his Seattle days, in his early Oklahoma City, because even Kobe said that he was able to kind of push him out of his spots, forcing him to become more of a jump shooter. So by that premise, I see that Kawhi was more so an inside slasher who then developed into a 3-level scorer versus KD, who was the shooter, then developing into the score. So I predicate KD shooting coming out the gate higher versus Kawhi, who developed his jump shot later on in his career.
Well, real quick, fellas, tray ball context, even chill, all y'all. I want to know. So real quick, let me pull it back up for a second, y'all. Can everybody, all y'all can see this?
Yes, sir.
So just to reiterate, we got Steph, Clay, Luke Kennard, Dame Lillard, Cat, Buddy Hield, Michael Porter Jr., Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Kyrie Irving, Bogey Bogdanovic, Kevin Durant, and Desmond Bane. On this top 15 list, do you guys see anybody that should be on this list that's not on this list? Anybody's got a couple names that they don't see on this list that should be on this list? Maybe Trey Young, Zach LaVine.
So to
Devin Booker.
So that's what I was gonna say. That was my retort for. I was gonna put in Devin Booker. I would put it. Who? Yeah, I would. If any, I would take out. I would take out. If I'm gonna take out someone, I would take out. That's a tough. It's weird because the volume for some people adds up, and then like you said, the efficiency, right, Chill, where they don't need that many shots to produce the same way, it takes away from that. So for Devin Booker, I would take out probably Bane. I would probably take out Bane. It's weird. I can't. I don't know. It's a weird. I would take out Book, but it would be a toss up because for me, Bane is a 3-point specialist. But Booker does it off the dribble a little bit more. So I would kind of put that a little bit more towards that. I think Seth is definitely up there. I would take out Seth. I mean, I would take out Kevin Huerter and put Seth, to be honest with you.
I don't think Book is a long ball shooter more than he is. I mean, I think he's more of a mid-range guy.
Right.
He can shoot the long ball 100%. But I definitely think that he's more of a mid-range guy than he is a long ball guy. He can definitely
chill. How could you say that? How could you say it about Devin Booker but not have the same logic?
I don't know.
Carry
I'm
over?
not sure if my headphones is working right.
You heard me?
Context. Did you say you would take out Kevin Huerter?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna take out Kevin Huerter. I'm gonna put Seth Curry.
Knew these had to be broke.
Yeah, we'll chop it another time. Go ahead,
Trey. Trey said something about Book.
Yeah, so chill. So how could you say the same logic that you just applied to Devin Booker? I think that applies to Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard is a really good 3-point shooter, like you said. If your logic is him doing it in the playoffs, but either way, I just don't think him and KD. I don't think the volume's high enough for me to really consider them better 3-point shooters than a lot of guys that we have up there. The exact same logic applies that you just said for Devin Booker. Would you agree?
No, it doesn't. And the reason why it doesn't is because what signature moments has Devin Booker had in the playoffs as opposed to Kawhi Leonard? I mean, I watched Kawhi Leonard stick big shots in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Championship in 2019. I watched him in the Western Conference semifinals and in the Western Conference Finals before he got hurt with the San Antonio Spurs. I watched him stick big shots against the Miami Heat and against the Miami Heat again. So Devin Booker, he'll stick the 3 ball, but I'm talking about big shots, back-breaking shots, like what Kawhi Leonard did. Plus, Kawhi Leonard is definitely more of a consistent shot taker. When I say a consistent shot taker, I'll see Devin Booker take bad shots. Leonard shoots the 3 when he knows that he can make it. Leonard, as opposed to with him playing in the mid-range, he's playing in the mid-range, he's more crafty. If I'm at the long ball line, if Leonard is at the long ball line and he's shooting at the long ball line, number one, he either got it going, or number two, he's open enough where he's going to hit that, or he's either going to hit that or he just missed one and he's going to make the next one. That's what Leonard is. I think he's a better shot selector than he is than Devin Booker is.
Well. First of all, you can say that, but Devin Booker is definitely a better shot creator. I don't think that's.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So, and in that finals run, he did make a lot of big shots, if you recall. And also, even if we're going to talk about this playoff run, I know they only made it to the second round, but wasn't he shooting almost like 60% from 3?
Missed 4 shots in like 3 games, or something like that.
Devin Booker is a sniper, and obviously we
from 3. Are we talking about? Are we talking about from on the long ball line with Devin Booker in that series again?
I think his whole playoffs he almost shot like 60% from 3. To be honest,
because Kawhi Leonard did something ridiculous in 2019 during that playoff run.
That's fair.
I think Kawhi Leonard is a really good 3-point shooter. I just don't think and like you said, I don't think he uses it as much because he doesn't have to. He's a 6'7" guy that can get to that. What I love about Kawhi Leonard is the fact that his mid range. It's almost, I'm not gonna say it's Jordan-like, but I love Kawhi.
It look effortless, don't it? It look like it's nothing to him, don't it? It look like he can just get to wherever he want to go.
There's no defense at that point. It's like, literally I miss.
If you can recall that 46 that he dropped on Luka, and then when they went up 2-0 and he went to Dallas,
it looked like it was nothing, right? It looked like it was nothing.
Ridiculous. That was ridiculous. It was almost Jordan-like. I mean,
it looked like it was nothing.
Kawhi Leonard's ability to get to his spots in the mid range and just rise up. It's effortless. It's like a layup for him. So I don't think it shoots him as much. So I don't think it's more so ability. I honestly just think it's volume when it comes to him.
Yeah, that's why I said I agree with Chill. I agree with as far as the efficiency and the shot taking, like when to take the shots, the high leverage moments. Like you said, I know I got it going. But if I have to give a little bit more credit to the volume, they're taking a little bit more threes than them. I do want to say this. I want to say this, though. I don't want to we could get back to this, but I want to say this. I want to give just a little bit pushback with the Gary Payton and the Shane Battier, just for a little bit. I feel Shane Battier wasn't that far away from Bruce Bowen. I don't think Shane Battier, the credit that you're giving him, Chill.
Who am I giving credit to?
Shane Battier.
I don't think he was that far away from Bruce Bowen.
No. So I think they're the same. So to me, I feel like it was more so positional defense, and I don't think it was anything but that. I don't think I think that the Kobe said it himself. Like he said, he put a hand in my face. He was at the spot, but I shot all. Like, he wasn't there. So
We
to
For
me,
context, isn't Shane or wasn't Shane a bit bigger than Bruce Bowen as well?
yeah, you know,
And I
he
think they're
was.
I think they're around. I think they're around the same size.
Probably same height,
Yeah.
probably around the same height.
Mhm.
They're pretty
they're
much
about the same
similar
size.
build. Probably Shane Battyer's a little bit
Okay,
bigger
okay.
because
Yeah,
he could guard
okay,
some
okay.
fours. I don't know. I just feel like I agree with you, Chill. I feel like he knew how to cut off angles, but I think that's where it stopped. I don't think there was an extra level that Shane Battier got to compared to a Tony Allen, compared to a Kawhi Leonard, where there was not only the IQ part about it, right, but there was the physical part about it that can also impact it, whether it be the athleticism, whether it be their strength. I think Shane Battier, for his size, he had good strength, but it wasn't top tier defensive strength. I think he relied a lot on his IQ, which, to be fair, no knock on that. I'm not saying that, but I think it was way more just positional defense versus the other tangibles that you can add to, like Scottie Pippen, where it's like their length, the athleticism, things of that nature. So that was the only thing I would say that I would give you pushback on. That was the only thing.
So, Ox, I have one question for Chill. And I know it's obviously a little bit off topic, but since he went back to that, and again, I'm not trying to start a GOAT debate at all. I know you're sick and tired of that. But Ticket kind of hoodwinked you into saying something that I think is egregious. When you said that you would rather, in a clutch situation, let's say you're down 1 point, and I mean, the seconds doesn't matter. That's getting a bit meticulous, but you would rather LeBron in that situation over MJ. And again, if your logic is his ability to play, make, and pass, I'll give you that. But I'm more so speaking in terms of
it was one shot. It wasn't. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with playmaking. It was one shot.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
You got
Because
one
I thought
shot.
that was your logic.
That was it.
I assume
No,
that
you
was
got
your
one
logic.
shot.
Would you agree? And again, knowing the hooper that both of you guys are, I just think that Jordan is like a top 5, and that's me being generous, like mid-range shooter ever. And I think like a 1-2 dribble pull-up is one of the most difficult shots to guard in the clutch because you can't really time a guy pulling up. And I think Jordan was so good at that. And it's not to say that LeBron like didn't have a mid-range game. I just don't think LeBron has a perfect skill set for those clutch situations in regards to Jordan, in comparison to Jordan, rather.
Perfect skill set. I mean, I wouldn't say perfect skill set.
No,
I think Jay.
I don't think it's as good, rather.
Right. I think Jay's skill set in the clutch was pretty awesome. But when I think about James' skill set in the clutch, when you're talking about, I think that mid range, I think that's great because that's what sets me up to do all the other stuff, to play with floaters, to play with the long ball, to be able to get to the basket, where I can, just like Jay could knock down that mid range. And not only do you have to honor it, you have to, that opens up so much more to floor, especially when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game. So when you get a guy like James, who's knocking down the mid-range, right? When he's knocking down that shot, he knocks down 2 or 3 of them, and you got to honor that. Now, if you're just going to live with that and you're just going to eat that, then you're going to lose. Now, if you're going to crowd Jordan and he's still going to make it, you're still going to lose either way. It doesn't make a difference whether or not you lose. I've seen James knock down the mid-range to now where the defense opens up and he just gets to the basket. I remember when they played Indiana in the Eastern Conference Championship, why Paul George was crowding him at the free throw line, and he was able to dart right to the basket.
But that was once though, Chill. That was once.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up. That was once, right? So then we talk about fast forward into the 2018 season with him pulling up and knocking down a 3. Well, him pulling up and knocking down a 3 to win the game. The reason why that was going on is because all the other stuff was going on. He was getting downhill. So now you just got to pick your poison. You either going to eat the long ball or you're going to eat the mid range. Which one is it going to be? Because I'm going to do one or the other. And if I have to choose one shot, if I have to choose him to make one shot, I've seen him do it so many times. I'd have to go with Jay. I mean, I'd have to go with James.
And I'm glad you said the 3-pointer because let's be honest. Most of LeBron's 3-point, like most of his game winners are 3-pointers, I believe. And if we're gonna, like I said, you're a guard too, so you know this specifically. It's a lot easier in a clutch situation to get off a 3-pointer because I think the defense would rather you get off a 3-pointer, a long 3 or a step back 3, than letting you get to your spots and rise up. So I think that's more so what I'm saying. When I saw when LeBron makes game winners again, I think we're living with him shooting the 3. We're living with LeBron shooting a step back three or a pull up three. We're living with damn near anybody shooting a step back or pull up three in a clutch situation. So again, like I said, but I just, and again, maybe some people would, some like Jordan detractors might say like the rules kind of, allowed him to do this. I just don't see how, especially someone like you who I know watched Jordan, wouldn't agree that in a clutch situation, we have 8 seconds left and we're down 1. I just don't, I think I would be terrified of Jordan getting a 1-2 dribble pull up than I would be of LeBron. I would think we're going to overtime. If Jordan has that ball, I'm shitting bricks.
It's interesting that too, brother, because like we'll live with James shooting we'll live with James shooting the mid range. We'll live with James shooting the three, right? We'll live with having the ball in the clutch. I mean, you got the most points in playoff history. So how much you living with it? I mean, you're going to live with it, but you're talking about buzzer beaters. I mean, he's got the most buzzer beaters in playoff history. So if you're going to live with it, how much are you living with it? Because don't get me wrong, we're talking about a guy in me who I wanted to be Jay. I ain't think that Jay was awesome. I wanted to be Jay. So for me to see another guy come along and go, I think he's better than him, that has to say volumes. Because the best way I can explain this to you, Trey, is in 2013, James was in the league in year 10. He had won the league MVP 4 times in 5 years. His team had won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons. I wasn't even interested in entertaining the conversation. Like, get out of here with that. Are you crazy?
Really?
I ain't even want to talk to. I ain't even want to talk to nobody about. Like, get out of my face with that. He ain't that dude. You crazy. It took me a long time to come to this conclusion, but when I came to it, I was doing a lot of homework. I was looking back on stuff, and I'm thinking, "Damn, I think he's better than him." Holy shit!
Wow. Yeah, I'm really curious at what was the turning point from an eye test standpoint, where it said to you like, okay, let me go do, like, what was that moment? And then you decided, let me go do research and go back and see like what did I miss in the beginning? Or like, you know what I mean? Or what was the converting point?
2015 when he took that Cavs team to the playoffs. No Kevin Love in the playoffs, by the way. Kevin Love got hurt in the first, and he didn't have Kyrie against Atlanta for the Eastern Conference Championship. He missed 2 of the 4 games, and he swept them out of the playoffs. Swept them. And by the way, both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, these how many playoff appearances they had before they got with James. 0. And he took them to the NBA Finals. And they get against the Golden State Warriors. And let me make sure I run the 5 down to you real quick, Conscious. Let me run down the 5 to you real quick. We got Della Nadova at the 1. We got
who almost died.
We got Della Nadova at the 1. We got J.R. Smith at the 2. We got James at the 3. We got Tristan Thompson at the 4, and we got the Russian at the 5. James got me thinking they might be able to beat these dudes. Are you serious? So now I got to go back and I got to go do some homework because I'm like, wait a minute, man. Is this dude as nice as I think he is? Or what's going on around here? Hold on. So what's happening here?
It's a floor raising thing for you, in other words.
I'm like, what's going on here? Is this dude better than what I think he is? Because I'm stuck on Jay. Trey, you got to remember, in 2003, Jay was washed. I wasn't ready to let him go.
You still had the Wizards jersey on.
I wasn't ready to let him go.
That's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I know you know
who he was. Who Jay was. He was your family member that's dying, and you got to let him go, but you can't because you just want him to stick around, and you know that they got to go. Right. You know it. Yeah. But you like, I can't let you go. Can you please just stick around for a little while longer? That's how I was with Jay in 2003. He clearly was over, but I didn't want to let him go. I couldn't. Couldn't you just play one more year, Jay? Just one more. I'm asking you to play one more season, knowing that he over, knowing for a fact that he's over. Right. So when LeBron James shows up, who I think is fantastic, and what he does by year 10, I'm like, why are you talking to me about this dude? He ain't close to that.
Right.
But then we get to 2015, and then we move to 2019, where that Laker team, which was in 10th place the year before, and then we're on Christmas. This is the same Western Conference that everybody was talking about was a nightmare. We're at Christmas, and James gets hurt. That team is 2.5 games out of first place in the West. I'm like, I think he might be better than him. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Oh, shit. I think he might be better than this dude. Am I tripping right now? I had to actually sit down with my lady and had this conversation. Like, I think he's better than this dude, Joe.
That's when you know it's critical. That's when you know it's critical. For sure.
That's where I was at with it. Am I tripping? I think he's better than this dude.
And your lady probably telling you, "Yo, you tripping? You tripping?"
No, her jaw dropped because she was looking at me like, "Really? Are we having this?"
Couldn't believe it.
I couldn't even talk to you about this a year ago. I couldn't even talk to you about this 3 years ago. Are we really having this conversation? I'm like,
so
that shows growth. But Trey, Tex, I do got to move on though, y'all.
I already know.
That was such good topics. I had to let y'all go a couple more minutes, but I got to move it on. We got a couple more things to touch on.
Man. Thank you for bringing me up,
man. Appreciate that. Salute, chill. One more. Crawford. Who you got? Crawford or Spence?
Crawford by murder.
I'm with you. Crawford he's in Denver on a different altitude. He got that championship air. Yeah.
Remember this, guys. Uppercut, right hook. Crawford.
All right, we'll remember that. All right, y'all.
Salute, fellas.
Lights are going out.
Ooh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for Saturday. That's gonna be a hell of a time. Let me see. Let me touch. You know what? This is what we'll do. Actually, we'll just go ahead and get it on with this last list, and then we'll do the super chats at the end. Let's just go ahead and knock it out. Can you see this one? I'll put it up. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we did. This is the most historic franchise list, y'all. We just did this list today. So it's fresh. I mean, it's still kind of fresh on your mind, though, Chilltown. Have you had any time to think about it? Did you maybe think I should have chose this team instead of that team? And what kind of criteria were you using for this? And how do you feel about all the picks?
Number one, what we was talking about. We was talking about iconic, right? We was talking about what they did. I ended up putting the Rockets ahead. I ended up putting the Jazz ahead of the Rockets because of longevity and how awesome they were. But when I think about what the Rockets did in '94 and in '95, I was having I went back and I thought about it, and I might want to flip that around and put the Rockets ahead of the Jazz, even though the Jazz had a ridiculous amount of longevity and how awesome they were. I mean, they was in the playoffs for 20 straight years, 19 or 20 straight years, they was in the playoffs. And I mean, they were pretty fantastic, but I have a difficult time with, teams like falling off a cliff. And, when I think about what Olajuwon did during that time, and I think about what, when in the 2000s, where, the Rockets weren't really one of the better teams in the league. There's a reason why they ended up with Yao Ming, right? There was a reason why they ended up with Yao Ming. There's a reason why they were getting knocked out of the playoffs in the first round every year. So, and with James Harden taking them to the West Finals that one or twice, I mean, I think that's a big deal. But the Jazz were a consistent staple in the playoffs every year. If I'm talking about the Rockets, I'm talking solely. If I'm talking about the Rockets, I'm talking solely about as good as Calvin Murphy was, right? As good as Calvin Murphy and Louis Lloyd and Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson, as good as those guys was, Olajuwon was the staple for that unit. And with Stockton and Malone, those two guys were the staple for that unit for a longer period of time. So when I care about how long you did something, I do. I care about how long you did it.
What about the Pacers at 11? Is that the proper place for them?
I wouldn't put I didn't put the Pacers. I wouldn't put the Pacers ahead of the Jazz, no, or the Rockets.
Right.
I would not put them ahead of the Jazz or the Rockets, or Dallas neither.
This is the big question, Chill, and this is what I saw most. I know it's supposed to talk about historic franchises or whatever, but I got a problem with the Knicks at 3. I know I brought it up on the show, but I just got to kind of reiterate. I don't see it. How do you feel about the Knicks at 3? Is that proper placement for you?
Well, all I can say about the Knicks is they had 5 straight 50 losing seasons, and they were still in the top 10 in the league in attendance. And the fact that they were in the top 10 in the league in attendance, that speaks volumes for the Knicks, because I mean, New York is a Knick town. They still waiting for the Knicks to win the NBA championship since the 70s, right? And
so, but Chilltown filling up the arena in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Is basketball. People love
right,
basketball. So we're in the biggest city in the country. You know what
right.
I'm saying? We're filling up. What is Madison Square? 22,000. I don't know.
I think almost 19,000.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's only 19. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're filling that up every night. We're in New York. People love basketball. You know, that's not about the Knicks. That's about basketball. I'm tired of the hyping of the Knicks almost as much as I'm tired of the Lakers. At least the Lakers be winning. I would have to go as far to say, Chilltown, I'm more disgusted with Knicks fans than Lakers fans.
Hey man, listen. When I can appreciate the logic with the Knicks being an iconic franchise and people caring about the Knicks, right? I can definitely appreciate that. I don't think I would have put them at 3. I think that there's some franchises that are above the New York Knicks, but I can understand why, from an iconic standpoint, the Knicks being who they are, and they look like they're on their way back to doing something. They do look like, and the NBA is better when the Knicks are better. That's a fact.
I agree with the second part of that statement. The NBA is better.
The NBA is so much better when the Knicks are better. 100% it is.
Why would you say that the Knicks are on their way back? What's been happening over there that makes you feel that way?
Well, like I just said, we're talking about a team without Julius Randle, without Brunson. I mean, they had 5 straight 50-loss seasons. I mean, they're actually in the playoff.
They did make it to the second round.
Yeah, and they're advancing.
They did.
So they are. I feel like they're building something, and the fact that they building something is great for the NBA, because the NBA needs for the Knicks, the NBA needs for the Lakers, and for the Celtics to be awesome. They need that. That's necessary.
Yeah, that's true. They did make it to the second round of the playoffs. So I kind of blanked right there, but you know they did. So okay, let me go back to it. So you're fine with them at 3 though. That's cool. That's not too high. You're fine with them over the Spurs and the Bulls and the Warriors?
No, no.
I'm saying I can see when we go this way. I can see the Knicks around 10. 9,
but I understand. I understand. I understand the logic. And the logic, the logic was the most iconic franchise, and the New York Knicks are a pretty iconic franchise. When you think about who they are, the Knicks are an iconic franchise, and because they're an iconic franchise, that's the idea. That's why they would be as high as they are, right? This isn't about them winning, and this isn't about them being on that level with the Bulls and with the Spurs. No. But we're talking about an iconic franchise. The Brooklyn Nets got KD and they got Kyrie Irving, and they still were at the bottom of the league in attendance. New York is a Knick town, and this is a team that was losing 50 games a year, and they still were outdrawing the Brooklyn Nets, and they was doing that simply because New York is a Knick town. Everybody in New York love the Knicks. Anybody outside Brooklyn don't care about the Brooklyn Nets. Nobody. In fact, they stole our team from Jersey.
Facts. Oh, that's a fact. So I'll ask you the same question on this list as I did about the shooters. Is there anybody on this list that's not there that you think should be there? Before you answer that though, Chilltown, I'm gonna allow Big Storm and Emmanuel to come on and be the last group of fellas we bring up, and then we can just go through it all together. Yep. Big Storm, Emmanuel, y'all there?
What's up, y'all?
What's going on? What's up, man? What's up? How y'all feel about this?
This might be a hot take.
I have a problem, to be honest.
Yeah, low key.
I don't think the Pacers should be on this list.
Thank you. I was about to say the same thing.
Because listen, I got an honest question. When you think of the Pacers, you think of 2 people at the max: Reggie Miller and Paul George. Literally. That's it. Name me 3 iconic
they haven't even won a
championship players. And they haven't. They've run to the finals like once in their entire franchise.
Jermaine O'Neal.
All right, bro. All right.
Okay, I'll give you Jermaine O'Neal. I'll give you that. Nah, but I just personally think that they're just way too high. I think they shouldn't be on the list.
Low key, the Raptors should be on this list if the Pacers.
No.
They're more. Wait. Why is it? If the Raptors should be on the list, they should be on the list. Why is it low key? Like, why are they underrated? Why are they underrated?
Because they haven't been around for that long, and they've done like a lot considering they've only been around for since like the
96. That's when he came into the league in 96.
96, yeah. So they've already won a championship. They've had like all-time greats already in The Pacers, what have they done? They have Reggie Miller. They made a finals. They have Paul George a couple years. It's like, you know, Raptors, Pacers. I mean, they've pretty much done the same thing, except the Raptors.
No, they haven't.
More.
No, they have not.
They
no, they have not. They no, they won the NBA championship that 1 year. I'll give you that 100%. Can we leave out the fact that not only that, the Indiana Pacers, they was in the Eastern Conference Championship 5 times in 7 years, B. 5 times in 7 years they was in the Eastern Conference Championship. The Toronto Raptors can't say that. That's number one. Number two, you're also talking about an Indiana Pacers franchise, which came from the ABA. So that's also what we're talking about. That's how they got into the NBA with Mel Daniels, as good as they were, and George McGinnis, as good as they were, right? So George McGinnis came into the NBA. Mel Daniels came into the NBA and were awesome. So then now they get Reggie Miller and they pass on, which was the smartest thing that they did. They passed on, I believe his name, who am I thinking about? Played for Indiana. Not Damon Bailey, but before him. Anyway, the point is that when the Indiana Pacers came into the NBA, they weren't very good. When they got Reggie Miller, they started to build that thing, and then they were a staple in the Eastern Conference for years and years to come. I thought they were going to win the NBA champ. But when the Malice in the Palace happened, before the Malice in the Palace, I had them winning the NBA championship that year in the 03-04 season. I had them winning the NBA championship that year before the Malice in the Palace happened, and that would have been if that whole thing didn't happen. That would have been, I think, 6. I think that would have been 7 trips in 10 years. To the Eastern Conference Championship. 7 in 10 years. Like, nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that. Not even, I think the Warriors are doing that today. James did that with 3 different teams, but there aren't many teams overall that's doing that. And the Pacers were doing that with Reggie Miller.
Can I ask a question, though? Are we counting their ABA championships with the Pacers? Yes. I have no problem with them. I have no problem with them. If we're doing that, I have no problem with them being here. I didn't know we were doing that. I don't know if we should count that, though. I don't know.
I don't think we really should.
Yeah, I don't think.
Why not, Storm? Why not?
It's just because the ABA was just so like far ago, and that's more because when you think of iconic teams, you think of like the Knicks. I understand, like you said before, the Knicks, 50 losing season, but that's sometimes with New York. Big market, big teams. Everyone thinks of Knicks. Knicks fans are everywhere, no matter where you go, no matter the stands are everywhere. Is it with the Pacers? Understand that. No, iconic, they have ABA championships, but this is the NBA, not the ABA. In the NBA record, they have none. They don't have anything. They're good. They were great with Reggie Miller, but it's just I just don't think they're that high. Or if they should be on the list, I think they should be way further down than the Rockets or the Supersonics or the other teams. I don't think they're that iconic, to be honest.
The Sonics ain't in the NBA no more. So the same logic you're using with the ABA, you got to take the Sonics off, the Supersonics off the list too, because that's the same logic.
That is very true. So we should probably take the Supersonics off that list as well. Because we're putting a defunct franchise as iconic. That's kind of that don't make sense.
Can I ask a question? Did the ABA Nets ever win a championship?
Did the ABA Nets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc, they can be on here. Yeah, they should be on here if they were counting the ABA for sure. They should be on there. Yeah, that's what.
Well,
you already addressed it with the Knicks. Yeah, they're way too high.
Okay.
I think the Rockets should maybe be higher.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe move the Pacers down, pull the Jazz and other ones up, because it's kind of weird having the Rockets over the Jazz. Not over the Jazz, have the Pacers over the Rockets, because I understand all that logic, but then you have the Rockets who have great players, have a player who's generally known as one of the greatest, if they're not the greatest defender of all time, player who's top 10 all time, a lot of people's lists, known for having some of the greatest footwork, carrying a team with a lot less talent than most other people around that time would win. So I just think maybe that could really kind of boost them up.
Yeah, that's understandable. Emmanuel or Big Storm, do y'all have anything else like not pertaining to any of the lists that we went over today?
Just I do have one question. Want to do? Yeah.
All right, go ahead, brother. Let's get it.
So this is for chill, right? You know the clip of you saying, "Can you give me one more day?" Right?
Right.
What were you actually talking about? What's the context of the clip?
Exactly that. There's a lot of people that's going through stuff. There's a lot of people that are having a real difficult time, and they can't see past tomorrow. And them trying to get through the day, they're looking at everything in their life, and they just want to end it. And the idea of just putting one foot in front of the other. We're not getting all the way down the block. Can you just put one foot in front of the other? That's it. Right? And let's see if you could just do that right now. If you could just put one foot in front of the other just right now and see how far we could go. Just right now. As opposed to, yo, what's going to happen next week when we still, well, we'll deal with next week when next week gets here. Let's just put one foot in front of the other just right now and see if we can move forward. And if we could do that, then we'll deal with the next step. And that's ultimately what I'm talking about. Just dealing with the next step, like not looking too far ahead. Because if you look too far ahead, it's just going to be overwhelming. And you're going to end up talking yourself out of something, and you're going to end up doing something that's detrimental. Just staying in the moment and one step at a time. That's all we're doing.
That's pretty dope, man.
That's real.
I appreciate
that's real right there. What about you, Big Storm? You got anything else before we move on?
Yeah, because as you can see, Magic fan. Is there any teams that you think that no one really talking about you think are going to make a really big leap or maybe shock other people? I know we talk about the Rockets, the Pistons, and for another team. Oh, maybe
I think Oklahoma City going to be real good next year. I think they're a solid playoff team. I don't think they're a play-in team. I think they're a solid playoff team. Barring any health issues from Chet. And when I say health issues, I mean something significant where he misses a significant amount of games.
Like out for the majority of the season.
If he misses a game here, a game there, I don't think that's that detrimental. If you could get 60, 70 games from him, I think they're a solid playoff team. Orlando, I think they're going to make some noise. I think Orlando's going to be right there in the play-in, maybe even as the Eastern Conference is so difficult. But I think Orlando's going to make some noise next season. I do. I think they're going to make a lot of noise next season.
Certainly. All right, Big Storm, Emmanuel, appreciate y'all for jumping on. We're not done yet, though. Y'all stick around.
Of course. Thanks for coming through, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Cool. Well, Chilltown, let's get to some of these super chats.
What you got?
That's what we do here, y'all. Let me see. From the GOAT, Angie Carr, we got, I can name 5 better than Pitt. Dylon.
Hey, Angie, was Dylon garbage, yo? He was so whack, yo. I thought for real that he was one of the worst MCs I ever heard. I was like, yo, get this dude off the mic, B. For real. He is garbage.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Man, those were good times. It's just, entertainment's not what it used to be.
It's not.
From Christopher D. But matter of fact, for all y'all that don't know what that's a reference to, there used to be a show called Making the Band. If y'all know P. Diddy, he used to be Puff Daddy. He used to do Making the Band. He had some rap groups. He had a singer group, Danity Kane. So this particular episode, there was a rapper. There was the group. Oh man, what were they called?
The band.
The band. Yeah, they had Ness, Chopper, Babs, the one little cute chick, and Dylon.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hilarious. He said the 5 hottest rappers, Dylon. Oh, it was beautiful. If y'all don't know about Making the Band, y'all look that up. Oh, that was hilarious.
His flow is so whack. Oh my god.
Oh man. So I hope I didn't butcher the summary, but y'all go check it out.
His flow is so whack. Oh my god.
Well, hold on though, Chilltown. What about Chopper and Ness?
Ness was dope. Ness was dope. Chopper was dope too. The both of them, the New Orleans dudes, they was dope. But Dylon, my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. From Christopher D. Better game performance: Allen Iverson 2001 Game 1 against the Lakers, or KD 2021 Game 5 against the Bucks?
Oh, Iverson won number 1. They won. So, and they won off the strength of Iverson. I mean, KD, he went empty in the overtime. He didn't give them anything. So Iverson ended up getting them a game. So the better performance was Iverson, 48. And they end up beating a team that hadn't lost in the playoffs. Forget the finals. The Lakers hadn't lost in the playoffs going into that game. And Iverson got them a game. Yeah. So between those two, yes, Iverson's game 1 performance was better.
Okay. So for this next super chat, I'm going to have to do something really quick. Let me see something. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. I'll go here. I'll pull this back up. Let me share my screen one more time. Okay, here we go. So I want to go over these really quick, Chilltown. Can I get you to? Oops. Okay.
Game 5. So we talking about Game 5 in 2001 in the semifinals. Come on, man.
So, okay. So let me ask you. I'm just gonna go over a couple of these duos real quick. So, okay. So Marcus Smart and Ron Artest. From a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank them? Marcus Smart and Ron Artest.
7.
A 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about the winners? The winners, Pippen and Sidney Moncrief.
I thought they were a 9.
A 9? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all I needed from that.
Yes, sir.
So what would you rank from Jorge Ramos? What would you rank PG and Bron from 1 to 10 as defensive duos?
They could very well be a 9 also, because both of them with their versatility. James with his as the transition defender that he was. I think Paul George. I think in 2019 that was probably the best version of Paul George as a defender. No, I don't think so. Actually, 2013, either 2013 or right before he got injured. That was probably the best version of him. But the on-ball, I think James was a better on-ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George was a fantastic on-ball defender. If I had to, I rank them lower. I'm not 8. I'm not 9. I'm going to say an 8 between the two of them, because I think that from full court, from baseline to baseline, I think both Sidney Moncrief and Scottie Pippen were better, and I think that would be the separator.
Okay. From Isaiah Garcia. Hey, Chill. I'm 23 and a lifelong Dolphins fan, but missed the Dan Marino era. Can you explain to a youngin what it was like watching number 13?
Oh, man. So before Peyton Manning showed up, I thought in terms of a pure passer, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, a guy who can deliver the football, Dan Marino was the best that I'd ever seen. And I believe 49 are red. Better than Joe Montana, better than Steve Young, right? Better than all. Before I laid eyes on Peyton Manning, I thought a guy, just a pure passer, a guy who can deliver the football. Dan Marino was the best that I had ever seen. Guy stand in the pocket, can just hit a guy on the dime. He could stand in the pocket, stand up 60 yards, hit a guy in stride, and have Mark Super Duper walk into the end zone. He was fantastic, yo. The problem was that the AFC was a nightmare. They never really gave Dan Marino an adequate run game. That's why Cincinnati was doing what they were doing. That's why Buffalo was doing what they were doing. That's why all these teams were doing what they were doing, because they had a better run game. Right. All Miami had was it was called, quote unquote, the run and shoot, but all they were doing was shooting. They weren't running. Right. It was just shooting. That's all they were doing. But Dan Marino as a passer, before I laid eyes on Peyton Manning, he was the best pure passer that I'd ever seen. He was fantastic. Dan Marino. That's why I have a difficult time when I hear people talking to me about, Eli Manning. Eli Manning, even though he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion and MVP of the Super Bowl, he was not better than Dan Marino. No, he was not.
That's outrageous.
No, he wasn't.
From Jay Carter 720, rank Ewing in the all-time center list. Ox and Chill. What do you got, Patrick Ewing? Top
8.
5 to 10? 8, okay.
Yeah, around 8.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's see. From LD and Hoops. Except Steph, I value shooters 6'6" plus over good 6 foot to 6'4". I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I do too.
The ability to get that shot off, but
yeah, you got 6'4" guys who can get a shot off easily. Right. You got 6'5" guys that can get shots off. Dale Ellis was 6'5". He can get a shot off on anybody. Craig Hodges could get a shot off. So,
so appreciate the comment. Eli the Misfit. I'd say Bogdanovich from Detroit over Bogdanovich from the Hawks. I love Bojan. So I'm not.
Me too. Me too. Me too, Big Ox.
Yeah, Bojan's the guy. Another one from LD and Hoops. Agreed.
F off
Agreed.
ball.
Okay. Agreed official off ball. Trey, Luka, JT, silly step backs. What's this? I'm trying to figure out.
I think they're talking about Trey, Luka, and JT, the step backs, and we're talking about efficiency off the basketball. That's better than what these guys do,
right?
In terms of what they do with the basketball.
Okay, my bad, y'all. Airhead moment. I can dig that. I agree. Full 100%. You know, Chilltown, if I got some guys, you know, from schools like Purdue, I've seen those a lot of Ivy League teams, even Wisconsin teams like that, you know, that come through and they got guys that might not have a bunch off the dribble, but they can run around, they move it out the ball, they come off of screens, they run hard, they catch, they get it up quick, they shoot it. I'm fine with that if they're gonna play defense over a bunch of guys that just want to dribble and, you know, do the Tyler Hero thing. You know, I'm more with the let's move the ball, shoot the ball, play defense. You know,
that's basketball.
I'm fine with that style.
That's basketball. 100%. That's basketball.
Every time. Let me get back. My bad. Okay, from Guns, we got big change the Bulls need. What's their ceiling?
Big change that the Bulls need.
They need Lonzo to be healthy.
But that losing Lonzo Ball was the linchpin, because if Ball is healthy, you have your lead guard, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine can both play on the wing and be what they are, which is better off the basketball than on the basketball. Right? They could be better in transition. They could be better spot up shooters. They could be all of that. DeMar DeRozan playing downhill and having a guy play make for him. Even though DeMar DeRozan can play make, having a guy play make for him. The fact that they don't have a lead guard now, that threw a monkey wrench in everything that they were doing. I think the Bulls are a team right now that's kind of stuck in purgatory, which is one of the worst places you can be. So if we're there with them, I think we at a point where that we might have to start over in Chicago.
Yeah. Probably time to let both of those guys go, or just
you might have to start over in Chicago. I mean, they just re-signed Vooch, but they're not close to winning it. They're not.
Yeah.
And there is no quick fix neither in Chicago, Big Ox. There isn't.
I agree. From KJ Prolific, yo, chill. Why does AI get so much hate as a defender? He led the league in steals 4 times while he was winning scoring titles.
Well, the reason why he gets so much hate is because exactly what you just said. People make him out to be a bigger deal as a defender when he told us that he wasn't a defender. He told us that he was not a defender, that he was more of a passing lane defender. He was not a very good one-on-one defender. And the fact that he led the league in steals, I mean, to be honest with you, and I've said this, I've said this plenty of times. When you're playing, and I don't know if you can attest to this, Big Ox, you might not be able to dig this, but if I'm playing in the NBA and I'm averaging 40 minutes a night, I can get you one steal. I could get you a steal.
Yeah, for sure.
Throughout that 40 minutes, somebody gonna give me the ball another time. So with effort, I can get you one steal. And then another time, somebody gonna give me the ball, whether it's gonna be the big man turning the basketball over. On some level, I could come up on a steal every other game. That could happen. So we're talking 2 steals a game. I don't think that's that difficult when I'm playing that many minutes.
I mean, I agree. If you're playing active defense, you got your hands up on defense, you know you moving, you seeing man the ball's gonna come to you.
I can get you one steal. I can do that. I could get you a steal a game. I could do that.
I agree. From last super chat from Vamp, he wants to know this, Chilltown. It's your last meal on earth. What would you rather have? A 6-pack and a bucket of extra crispy, or meat and potatoes? Thanks, OG.
That 6-pack and a bucket of extra crispy sound real good. And the fact that I'm vegan now, the meat and potatoes, it's not really what it used to be. But if it's the last meal on earth and I'm never going to eat again, and I get to eat one meal, I may have to go with that 6-pack and a bucket of extra crispy. I may have to do it, B.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I know that you're vegan, right? I was gonna say, Chilltown. When is the last time you had a bucket of extra crispy?
Years ago. Years ago. For real.
Right on. Well, it was another great show, Chilltown. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody out there, the viewers. Chilltown.
Hey, don't drink and drive. Put a suit on. Love yourself. Take it light, but take it. See you guys soon.
I'm not sure exactly what the deal is for Saturday, y'all, but y'all just keep your eye out. I know there will be some schedules out. Y'all see the schedules, man. Y'all just stay tuned in. If we don't see you Saturday, well, we will see you Saturday, but if we don't see you on Chill with Chill, we'll see you next Wednesday, y'all.
Take it light, but take it.
All right, y'all. Hold this down.
Yeah.
I better click it.